SysloSpice, digital recipes for dominance. SysloSpice. Recipes for digital dominance. Hello everybody, we're gonna dive right in. All right, here's what's going on. So we got a little bit of SysloSpice coming at you. We're gonna do free weekly trainings on everything relating to marketing, digital media, video production, video editing, website design, graphic design, social media design, how to generate more leads, growing a digital brand, brand transformation, brand strategies. They're all gonna be free live trainings that you're gonna get an accessible link to. We're gonna do it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. My goal is to really educate you, give you some spice, throw some heat on it, build it all together so that you have everything you need for free to check out and improve your brand, your marketing efforts on social media right now, especially right now with everything that's required to bring your brand, your business, whatever it may be, into the digital era. So I hope to see you there. Sign up, let's get you on. I look forward to seeing you there. SysloSpice, recipes for digital dominance. I'll see you there. Hey everybody, how you doing? Happy Wednesday evening. We're back again for another SysloSpice. It's been a wild week. I'm gonna pop on Instagram here, turn that on, see if we get some people in there as well. But thank you so much for being here. We got some cool notes we're gonna go through today. And it's something that I did and something that people have asked me a lot about. Literally just like, dude, how do you do this? How does this work? What do you need to do? How you break it down? What's the whole deal? So we're going to dive into that today. If you want to go back, all of the other episodes, so I think this is episode 5 right now. So all the other episodes are on my YouTube channel. You can go over there, get episode 1, 2, 3, 4. The people that are hopping into Instagram, this is SysloSpice. This is your digital recipe. Sorry, your recipe for digital dominance. I always put digital first and you're supposed to be digital dominance, but I don't know. Grammatically in my mind, it makes more sense. So thank you guys for hopping in. We're only going to have this on maybe for about 15 minutes or so. But today what we're talking about is how to brand yourself while working for someone else. And if you have a brand, it may help you extend that brand already. But I'm really going to give you, the deep dive, the viewpoints, the experience that I had, what I did, how I did it, how I broke things down, and how we're going to take it from there, okay? Because it's an intricate process to brand yourself while you're working for somebody else. But if you know how to do it and you do it ethically and you do it from the standpoint of helping the company and you do it from the standpoint of what effect you're going to create both for consumers, for your brand, and for the people that you're working for, this is just going to set you apart right off the bat. And if you're in sales, look, when I did it, let me back up. So the reason why I did it was because I recognized that the more that I promoted, the more money I made. The more content that I created, the more money I made. The more communication I had, the more money I made. The more that I was able to extend myself out into the marketplace, the more money I made. And that was the deal. Let me pull this up just real quick, make sure I'm not missing any questions from people that are hopping on here. And so when I did that, I realized, oh, okay, all right, my income is increasing. I'm helping the company grow. And simultaneously, I'm creating a position for myself, both within the organization, but also in the marketplace that didn't really exist before at all. Like it did not exist. There was nothing there. And so for me, it became a viewpoint shift for both income-based information, but from an income-based viewpoint and from the company standpoint, right? And if you're a business owner and you have employees working for you, I really encourage you to listen to what I have to say tonight because they can help you make more money if you let them do this. Now, some people would be like, oh, I don't want, it's all about me. It's all about me. I don't want this person getting more attention than me and blah, 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 blah. You're selfish. Be quiet. We don't care about you. I'm talking about the guys that actually genuinely care about their employees, that genuinely care about their customers, that genuinely care about their business. Like everybody that works for me, I encourage them. I say, hey, promote yourself. Tell everybody what you're doing. Let them know. Do your deal, whatever you got to do. And I'm going to go through the steps and all of the stuff of how I did it ethically without creating a problem and without pulling attention away from the main source of the business, right? That's really the trick. How do you do this without pulling attention away or diverting attention away from the main source of the business, simultaneously build your brand without crossing any boundaries or making people upset or people being like, dude, you're getting too much attention, you need to back that off? Which if they actually say that, you're doing a really good job. But the point of the matter is that you don't want them to say that, right? So for me, what we're going to go over tonight is just how I did it, how I broke it down. If you have questions, you can put them in chat. If you have questions, you can put them in the Zoom link over there, and we'll dive right into tonight's topic. All right. Make sure you're subscribed, because we also, when you're on the SysloSpice list, you get tips, you get new videos, you get new content, you get new things that come out frequently from us and the company and what we're doing. We got a lot of new things coming up the pike here, like big things that surprised me and I'm very excited about. Can't go into them. It does involve a lot of travel overseas, does involve a lot of different countries, which is right up what I want to do. And I'm pretty excited about that. And that came, by the way, because of what we're going to talk about tonight. So if you're just joining in on Instagram, this is how to brand yourself by working for somebody else. If you're a business owner, a CEO, a COO, somebody that has a company already, and you're looking for ways to help attract more business, more income, listen to what I have to say tonight, because it's going to be good for you across the board. All right. So let's dive right in. We got these notes that we got to get through in the next 55 minutes or so. And I'm going to share everything that I know about how to do this. All right. Number one, you have to understand the rules of the company. What does that mean? Every company has their own promotion or PR that's connected with it, right? The guy that built the company, the girl that built the company, or the organization, a collective as a whole that built the company, they basically said to themselves, good, this is how we want to be represented out in the marketplace. These are our values. These are our morals. This is how we do business. This is how we don't do business. This is how we attract customers. These are the types of customers we don't work with. These are the customers we do want. And it's just like, it's a general rule, right? It's the rules of the organization. So you as the person, employee, salesperson, marketing department, whatever it is, you have to look at that and just say, okay, great. Where do I fall within keeping those rules in line? And what is it that I want to promote? And does it violate any of those rules? So if you can adhere to rules and guidelines and stay within a sandbox and not violate those rules, you'll achieve success with what we're talking about, how to brand yourself tonight, because you'll know the sandbox, you'll know the parameters, you'll know where you can't go, you know what you can do, what you can't do, what you shouldn't do. And I got a whole list of don't do's. Don't do these things. I'm going to have a whole list of that as I was typing up my notes. I'm like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And a lot of it was self-monitoring, to be honest with you, because look, my end goal was I wanted more income. Okay, I really wanted more income. I was just moving into sales at the time. And I was thinking to myself, and I said, how can I create more opportunity that both helps the company I work for, but also increases my bank account? That's what I really wanted. I was like, how do I increase my bank account, right? I mean, I'm not going to do this, right? I'm doing sales and marketing and all this stuff. So what I did was I just looked at what are the rules? Okay, this is the main person. This is the main deal. This is this, this is that. And I created the box. And anytime I had an inkling of, well, I shouldn't, if I ever had a thought that was, that might offend someone or that's pushing the limit, I just wouldn't do it. Like I would literally honor that integrity point or that perception that I had. And I would just say, look, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to create this problem. I'm not going to create this situation because I know it will create a situation. So I'm not going to do anything to create that situation. You have to be responsible enough as you're building your brand here to recognize what that limitation is going to be and to back off yourself. Like you have to self-monitor this because the company's not going to self-monitor this. And they may even feel a little like, they're going to feel a little uncomfortable as you do it. But as you start to prove, look, this works. I'm not violating anything. We're respecting the organization. I'm respecting the organization. I'm respecting you as the founder. They're going to start to trust you. And that's really the end goal of building your brand while you're working for someone else. You have to establish that you are worthy of trust. You have to establish that you are worthy of trust, that you can go out and represent the organization in a way on social media, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, in a way That's not going to degrade the company, right? Okay, so that's the first thing, understanding the rules. You have to identify what those rules are. I don't know what they are for your business. I really don't. I don't know what that's going to be. But for you, when you talk to the people that you work with, when you talk to the owners, when you talk to maybe there's a COO or a manager, just be honest and just say, look, this is what I want to do, and understand what the rules of the game are going to be, because you can't play that game unless you play by the rules. Okay. And if you don't like playing by the rules, then this probably isn't for you. But temporarily, if you're trying to scale yourself and create presence and who is this individual that's working here, you're going to have to play by the rules. Right. So next point, do not pull attention away from the main company. Your job when you build your brand, okay, your job is to not detract from the overall message of the organization. Your job is to enhance that message, okay? Your job is to enhance the fact that it exists. Your job is to promote the fact that it has good products and that it has good services, right? So when you're building your brand, working for someone else, you have to look at it from the standpoint of, okay, I'm enhancing the organization, but I'm not doing it to be egotistical. I'm not doing it to look at me. I'm doing it because I'm enhancing this company. I'm making this company bigger, appear bigger. The fact that I'm even willing to talk about this organization means that I believe in the organization, especially if you're in sales. If you're a salesperson, you should be building your own brand ASAP, whatever it is. But you have to look at it from the standpoint of, okay, am I protecting both the integrity of the organization, protecting my integrity by not violating any of the rules of the organization, but promoting the fact that it exists, it has great products, it has great service, and that I'm knowledgeable in those products or services. That's if you're in sales. There's other divisions of that organization as well that can build their brand, whether you're in accounting, you're in marketing, you're in design, maybe you're a secretary, maybe you're an assistant, maybe you're something like that. You literally have the keys to help enhance the organization, and you will become known for that. Okay. You'll become known for that position. You'll become known for what it is that you're bringing to the marketplace for that viewpoint. So your job is to not pull attention away from the main organization. Your job is to enhance the organization, not pull it away and look at you, or use the organization to boost yourself. Like, you're not really doing that here. That's going to happen naturally over time. What you're really just simply trying to do is say, I have something of value. This is what I do every day, and I want to talk about that. All right. Number two, you want to, I kind of dived into this, but let's really break that in. So you have to figure out a way, whatever position you have, whether you're in sales, whether you are an accountant, whether you are a secretary or you answer the phones, or you're COO, if you're running the organization, or you're the CEO, he or she should be promoting already. But if you're in these other positions, you now have to figure out, okay, what do I do every single day? Right? What's my responsibility? And just talk about your responsibility. That's enough, right? So if you want to become and eventually maybe build your own accounting firm later on, great, that's fine. But in the moment, and I want to specify this one thing, when you're doing this, it's okay to think, all right, eventually maybe I'll build my own thing. But realistically, you're there in that moment to serve the company. You're there in that moment to serve the organization. What you want to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 2 years from now, irrelevant. In that moment, because people are going to pick up on that vibe. Like, when you communicate from that place, people are going to get that. They're going to be like, oh, I think this guy wants to leave. I think this guy is trying to do something else here. We don't want that. You got to be stone cold, loyal, unquestionable in activity, unquestionable in your actions, so that nobody can turn around and say, well, he was trying to do this or she was trying to do that. It's like, no, I'm actually here to help promote your business. As a byproduct, your brand is created. People will be like, well, I'm associated with the company, but it's you. It's still you, right? It's still you. You're the one doing it. Okay, you work for company X, Y, and Z, but it's still your identity. You are the vessel. You are the individual who's making that communication happen. Yes, you might be working for this company, but you're the one doing it. And the more consistent that you can do it, the more that people will get to know you. People call you off. I mean, I remember people call me, hey, we're Syslo. Be like, hey, I'm over here. Call me. Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. What is it that you would like? What kind of package you want to buy? Like, that's what I would do because it worked. And because I was loyal to the organization and because I built that out. So my intention was to drive more business to the organization and drive more business so that I could close more deals. And it worked really well. It worked so well that when I finally decided some years later to go out on my own, it was like, everybody knows me. Great. Everybody knows me. Now I had a non-compete for a year. I couldn't sell or talk about my product, which is fine. And I stuck with it. But I had done all this work for years establishing myself, right? And once that non-compete was up, it's funny, right? Once that non-compete was up, man, it was like money, 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 money. Business was growing. Everything was good. I was jiving. I was doing my deal because I invested all that time on the front end, right? Now, I didn't know I was going to leave when I was doing it. I had no idea. In fact, when I was deciding to be like, okay, I'm going to go out on my own, that didn't happen until about 6 or 7 months prior when I was kind of like, maybe. And I anguished over that decision for many months. It was like a night and day anguish, but I still showed up. I still did my job. I worked till 6 o'clock that last day and trying to make deals and all that stuff. But I built a brand for myself. I built Robert Syslo. And what that had done for me was really enable me to have a launching point to go from when I went out on my own eventually. But that's not the point of what we're talking about here. In the moment, you're driving more business, you're driving more clients, you're driving more communication. Some way, somehow, you are assisting the forward momentum of the business. If you're a CEO or a business owner right now, encourage your employees to just promote the hell out of what it is that they do, promote the hell out of all the products that you have, because it's just an extended audience that you can get access to, and you should be doing it. And you as the employee need to look at it as like, well, somebody could turn around and be like, well, I don't have any other opportunities here. My income level is capped here. I don't know what else I could do. Well, that's just being lazy, man. Like there's gotta be opportunities there. There's gotta be something. If you bring a new client into the company and they drop 10, 20, 30 grand, be like, dude, I brought that guy in. Like, where's my referral fee? Where's my commission on that? You know what I mean? Like, be bold. You're helping the company expand. Look, if somebody in my organization brought me a $500,000 deal and I got to pay a $50,000 commission, I'm going to pay the $50,000 commission because they helped expand the business, because they were promoting themselves and establishing themselves as a brand. Well, I don't want to go out there, and I don't want to talk, and I don't know what I'm going to say. Well, good. Then you're not going to make any more money. You know what I mean? I opened the conversation tonight with, I realized the more that I promoted, the more money I made. The more that I marketed, I would come home and I would literally work all day, bang the phones, do everything I could do. And then I'd come home and then I'd make I would just sit like I'm sitting here right now, and I would just crank out 3 or 4 videos. I'd get them out and rock and roll. I'd write an article, and I did that every day, Monday through Friday. I was doing like 15 videos a week, 5 articles a week. I was just cranking, because the more I did that, the more money I made. Then I started to like churn and burn. Then I was like, oh my God, I can post all this content. I can share all this content. And every piece of content had a call to action to the business. You know what I mean? Every piece of content had a call to action to business. And look, people approached me. They were like, hey, come work for me. I'm like, no, I'm loyal here. I'm working here. Like, it was just like a knife. It was just like, no, I'm working here. This is what I'm doing. I'm committed to this. I'm staying committed to this. Unquestionable. You cannot shake this. I'm not going to leave. Da, 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 da. Like, that's the attitude you have to have if you want to build your brand while you work for another organization. Let's look on a bigger scale. Let's say you're in network marketing. Okay. Let's say you're in an MLM. Woo, MLMs. Wow. How can I establish my brand outside of an MLM while I'm working for an MLM, but I can't really do that because I'm working for the MLM. So what do I need to do? Same exact thing. Products, services, wonders of the company. What does the company do for other individuals? If you want to brand yourself while you're working within an organization, as I said, understand the rules, know what the rules are so that you can play with them. You can adjust them however you want, and then you're golden. Enhance the top line of the business with what you're doing. Enhance the top line of the business. Your brand at the beginning, when you're doing this, whether you want to leave eventually or you never want to leave, okay, should enhance the forward momentum of the business. And the byproduct of that is you have a brand. You have a presence. You have a communique. You have a communicazione. You have a vessel. You've got a platform that's surging with content. right? Because you're forwarding the momentum of the business, right? Next point. I'm going to dive into this a little more. Take your area of expertise and utilize it to attract attention. Okay. So let's look at that. Like what were you hired to do? Okay. What was it that you were hired to do? Right. And if a company has a problem with you promoting, that's an issue. Like you need to sort that out. Especially if you're a business owner and they're like, don't do that. Don't communicate. Wait. You're saying I can't communicate about what it is that I do here and how we help our customers and clients to pull more attention, to get more sales to the top line of the business so you can expand your company? You mean I can't do that? Like what kind of logic is this? Right? So you don't want to get in an environment like that, but definitely talk to them. Be like, this is what I want to do. Here's how I'm going to do this. Everything's going to go along the line. It's going to be ethical. It's going to be clean. It's going to help people get more educated. And it's just going to give them a different point of contact, right? Maybe they can't get in touch with the main guy, but they can get in touch with you. And then you could turn that into a more lucrative sales position for yourself, right? So you're taking what it is that you do every day. So my thing was, at that time, it was video and it was marketing. And I would just talk about my experience. I would talk about what we did. I would show what we did. I would show the trips that we went on. I would talk about, what it is I learned, some of the cool things that I was able to develop and the things that I was able to do. Guys, if you're hopping in on Instagram, if you could comment, if you could give me some love with some hearts, that'd be great. I love a lot of hearts. It just tells me that I'm doing a good job. And everybody on Zoom, if you have comments, drop them over there. I'll get them to you. But give me some bangs on the hearts over there, you guys that are here on Instagram. I would appreciate that. So the point of the matter is that I would talk about what it was that I was doing, right? Oh, man, here's this cool ad that I'm making for this event. Oh, man, here's this new video that we're doing for this. Oh, man. And look what's happening. We're showing creation. We're showing another viewpoint. We're showing another experience. We're showing this, but we're promoting the product and the service or the event of which that we're working with. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's so many layers deep on inception there. It's wild. But I'm creating myself as an authority by doing this, right? But I remember, unquestionable loyalty, unquestionable. People knew what I was standing for. People knew who I was. People knew who I was going to talk to. People knew what I was going to. I had a guy come and be like, "I'll give you 70 grand right now if you come work for me." I'm like, "No, thank you." Came right up to me. It was like, "Dude, I'll give you $70,000 up front right now if you come and work with me." And I'm like, "No, thank you very much. I am totally fine where I am, committed to where I am." Like, that's when you start getting that happening, you're striking the vein, because people will see, they're like, wow, this guy is committed to that business. This guy is committed. This guy wants to make a difference. This guy is really trying to help the forward momentum of that organization, right? So for me, I looked at what I did every day. Okay, we're having this meeting. Okay, we're going to plan this. Okay, we're going to build this out. Okay, we're going to do that. Okay, I made this video. Okay, we're going on this trip. This all became pieces of content. And then all I did was just talk about really my experience and what I had learned. That was it. I just talked about what I learned. I just talked about the experience, because that was enough for me. And that made me an asset, because now I started to get different people reaching out. People would ask me about different products and services. People would want to be a part of different things. People would want to make more money. People would want as a direct relation to what it was that I was doing. And I was making the company money, and I was making money. My bank account started to and those, bi-weekly commission checks were great. I was like, woo, this looks good, right? Because I saw an opportunity to enhance the forward momentum of that business. And as a business owner, I feel like it was appreciated. It was never said, but I think it was, because when you bring the checks and the deals that are that big, I think it's awesome. So when you're working for a company, small business, medium business, large business, whatever that might be, how can you enhance it? And this is what we're talking about tonight, right? So take your area of expertise that you have, that you know about, that you were hired to do, and without really going over yourself and promoting yourself, you are promoting yourself, but you're not talking about yourself. You're talking about the business, and you're talking about your responsibilities of the business, which that's that fine line, right? That's how I did it. Like, it was never really about me. It was about this other group of what I was trying to help, right? All right, good. So let's break that down a little more. Like, let's talk about what those interests could be, because this is how the brand is created at this point. This is how you break that out. So number one thing is, what is it that you do every day? Like, you got to do something every day. You go in, you clock in 8:30, 9 o'clock, you're done at 5, 6, whatever it is. Or if you're in sales, you come in earlier, you're out at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. What does that day look like for you? Do you train at the beginning of the day? Do you review yesterday? Do you check your stats? Do you follow up on your clients? What are you doing? Right? Or if you're in accounting, what are you doing in accounting? If you're in marketing, what are you doing in marketing? Like, what is it that's going on moment to moment to moment? Like, you will have endless amount of content. I had endless amount of content. I love it when people turn around and like, I don't know what to talk about. I'm like, well, what do you do? What do you do? It's funny because people will go, and it's like, what do you mean you can't even say that you know what it is that you're doing? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Come on, you do stuff. Come on. Who you talk to? What did you say? What did they say to you? What was the problem you had to solve today? What did you go? What happened? You know, what was the problem? What was the issue? What was the situation? What did you do? What did that person want? What did you want? What were you trying to do? Like, these are all things you could talk about, right? It's just endless. Oh, well, there's this new upgrade that's coming in. Okay, good. Talk about that. Okay, good. You know, what is it? Where does that line go? There's so much data that happens in that day. Then look at it from the viewpoint of, okay, let's create some content. All right, let's maybe make a video. Let's do a TikTok. Let's do an Instagram story. Maybe something funny really happens. I don't know. Maybe something funny happens throughout the day. Throw it up on TikTok. Throw it up on Instagram story. I don't know. You know, maybe you got a lively person you're working with and they just are a pinata of endless amounts of content. Like, they just drop candy out their mouth. And you're like, oh, I'm going to take that. I could take that. I could take that. I could grab that. So when you're working for somebody else, promote the guy or the girl, right? Promote your manager. Like, what is it? It's a company, right? The company wants to make money. People are hired within that company. That's what we're talking about here. So what's happening every single moment of that day is really content for you that you can communicate about. And again, what's the rules of the business? Okay. How do they want to promote themselves? Do not be the person. Don't do this. Okay. Don't do this. Don't be the girl that goes put on their bikini and they go out to the beach and they start talking about, oh, let's talk about this. Or let's talk about that. Look at me. Look at me. No, don't do it. Don't be the guy that's got 9 abs, goes outside, hangs off his monkey bar. And he's like, hey man, you gotta check this out. No, do not do that. Unprofessional. Or, hey, you go out with your friends, you go drink and like, let me talk about this. Let me make a cool video. We're at this bar right now. I mean, if somebody did that, I would just be like, don't ever come back to work ever again. Like, just don't ever come back. You know what I mean? Because it's the wrong image. It's the wrong, wow, I went full Jersey on that. Did you hear that? It's the wrong image. Went full Jersey. It's wrong, right? It damages the image of the company, but you'll be surprised. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that, right? Your job is to be a professional. Okay, your job, and even if you work in a laid back spot, still be professional about it, right? Because you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to talk about it. You never know who's going to come in. You never know who's going to see that content. You never know. You never know how that's going to flow, right? So what do you do every day? Don't go out with Miss Bikini and, have one of those big 7-foot margarita drink things or whatever it is. Don't go out and do that. We don't want to do that. We simply just want to enhance the forward momentum of the company. And as a CEO, you should encourage your staff to do it. You should encourage your staff to promote what it is that you do every day, to talk about that, to talk about their expertise. Why not? If the company is solid, like you as an owner are a solid ethical person and you pay well and you take care of your people, you don't have to worry about them going somewhere else. I used the example before. Somebody came up to me and was like, I'll give you 70 grand today to come and work with me. And I said, absolutely not. Absolutely. I was actually surprised that they had the balls to do that. I was like, what is this? This is really covert, man. Like, what kind of person are you? Anyway, so I said no. But that's because I was committed, right? So if you got a committed staff, give them more power, give them more opportunity, man. Maybe they'll bring a deal to you that you didn't have access to before. Your staff can bring in deals, or you as an employee can bring in deals that maybe the owner or salespeople don't have access to. Like, just because you're hired as an accountant doesn't mean you can't upsell somebody else, bring in some more money. Yeah, you get a commission. Isn't that great? You go from making $4,000 a month to $6,000 a month. What would be how much better would $2,000 be for you right now? Right? $2,000. Now really look at it. I'll never forget. I was making, what was I making? Like 38,000 or something like that my first year. I closed my first deal and I got paid like $2,000. And I was like, that's more than my bi-weekly paycheck, my 2-week paycheck. I just did that in a day. Holy moly, I'm going to do more of this, right? Holy moly, am I going to do more, right? Because it was just, I saw it. I saw the opportunity. You have opportunity right in front of you, right there. As an employee, whatever viewpoint you have, again, be ethical about it. Okay. Be ethical about it. Okay. Talk to the people that you're going to, that you work with. Just say, look, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to promote the company. It's going to be very professional. Some guys may not allow it. I mean, but push it because the opportunity is there and I want you to push it and you should be pushing it. Right. So now the next part of this, of what is it that you do every day, is how do you know it? How do you know it? Right? Where did you learn it? Okay. This is where you could talk about your background. Okay. This is where you could talk about where you grew up, how you built yourself, what did you study in school? Like, I was never formally trained in filmmaking. I was never formally trained in advertising. I did not go to school for it. I did go to school for it, but we were sitting there analyzing like 1920s film, which was cool, but I wasn't doing anything. I was like, can we go make something? Like, can I go create? No, we got to watch this German film. Not that I dislike German films. I think they're great, but it's like, can we go make something? Like, how am I going to make money with this? Right. But I wasn't formally trained, and I would talk about that. Like my editing, my video editing, like I've got this episode back here. I'm editing this episode right now, just putting the final touches on it, which I'll wrap up after this call today. But I literally I didn't learn filmmaking and nobody taught me. I just went and pushed all the buttons and I talked about it. I said, that's how I learned. I did not go to school for it. I did not go to school for it. I repeat, I did not. In fact, I never finished college. I dropped out 3 times and went back 3 times and I ended up dropping out, whatever. But the point of the matter is that how did I learn what I did? Well, I'll tell you, I got a job with a company in New York City. I was an intern right out of high school and I worked for this film company and I got the exposure and I was like, okay, then I was a production assistant over here while I was going to college. And then I moved to New Mexico and this was like when YouTube was becoming a thing. And what they were wanting was that they wanted to have filmmakers in cities around the world. And what I ended up doing was they hired me to go out and shoot all these different, by the way, I had never done ads before, but I had shot like some things. And right off the bat, I mean, I went from 0 to 100, I think it was like, I don't know, 60, 80 ads in like 3 months or something like that. And that's how my career started in advertising. It was literally just, I learned it, I built it, and then I kept refining my skill set. That's my story. That's how I learned it. And now I'm applying it to X, Y, and Z company, which is where I am now. And this is how I'm enhancing that. This is what I did in the Caribbean and how I'm bringing it to this and that and that and this. Or maybe you went to college and you got an MBA and you invested all this time and you're a part of these global initiatives. Like, what are those things that you're a part of that you learned about? How did you learn what you know? Right? How did you learn what you know? That, as an employee, you were hired for a reason, promote it, right? If you love the company where you're at, and you need to love the company where you're at, you need to promote that, right? Because you're trying to bring in more business, you're trying to bring in more individuals to come and communicate so that the company can grow. And as I said, as a byproduct, your brand is built. As a byproduct, your brand is created and you are known for that. And you can carry that through for the rest of your life, right? And you're in control of your brand at all times, right? So eventually, if you ever decide to go out on your own, you can change what you were known for. You just start promoting hard and that's that, but you'll be known for something, right? So what do you know? How do you know it? What do you do every day? Those are the parts you want to dive into. You want to really explore that, okay? Don't be afraid to talk about it because I guarantee you, people are interested. They want to know who's working at the company because they want to talk to someone, right? I mean, look, if I was trying to call a company or a dealership and I saw a guy promoting and I could reach out to him and I wanted to buy a car, I would rather do that than try to call the dealership and wait on hold. Or maybe I'm trying to get a loan at a bank and I know the guy at the bank and he's talking about da. Maybe he could help me bring in more customers to the bank. It's an example. You should think about it. What else are you interested in? Hobbies, sports, environmental, social initiatives, right? What else are you interested in? So this is like, now that you're kind of building your whole identity here and you're promoting the organization and you're talking about the organization, you're driving new business into the organization and you're creating that kind of a deal. What other things do you do? Right now, this is this is like your 20%, 10% social media thing that I've talked about in the past. This is what this is. This is you showing, okay, I have other interests. Like my thing was surfing. I love cars. I love travel. I love art. I love the 80s. You know, I love DeLoreans. I like the color pink. I like a lot of different things, right? Rob, you like the color pink? Yeah, I think it's cool, man. I got a pink sign I just bought, Syslo. You can kind of see it in the reflection back there. It says Syslo. My name is on the wall in my office. 30% tax write-off of the rent. Anyway, point of the matter is that I talked about the things that I liked. I talked about the other things that I wanted to do. I talked about, oh man, the sweet swell came in from Miami today. We had a sweet swell this past week. Got to go surfing after like 8 months of no surfing. It was like 5 hours, boom, I'm in the ocean. Give me the pre-workout. All of it that I can take so I could just keep going and stay out there. That's what I did. But those are hobbies and interests and other things that I cultivate, right? Now, why would you do that? Because those other people that follow you, one of my best friends right now, actually, who we're working on a project with, we met because I had a car. I used to drive a red sports car, Alfa Romeo. And we met, and that's how that conversation started going. And he's a dear friend. We're working together. It's amazing, right? So your activities and things that people that are like, oh, I don't think anybody's going to like that. You'd be surprised. Okay. You'd be surprised who would like that. Now, if your goal is to bring more business to the company because you can increase your revenue and your income. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize that went out of focus there. There we go. We're back in focus. One of the things that you would be doing is that you are giving people other avenues to communicate with you. Now, maybe they come in through surfing, maybe they come in through this, maybe they come in through cars, maybe they come in through travel, maybe you're into fashion or you're into makeup, you're into working out and those things. Like, keep the business and the personal thing separate. Like, don't do the business thing and then bring the business thing into the personal thing. Like, keep the personal thing, the personal thing. I'm not saying to make your social media 1,000% of the organization or the entrepreneur or the individual that you're working for. That doesn't really work. That's just a little too overkill, because you lose your identity when you do that, by the way. When you make that move and you really promote to that level, you as the individual lose your complete identity. There's no way for a potential client or someone to differentiate you at that point. It's like, well, why would I mean, what is this, right? You just kind of like, you kind of become like a machine. You're just this little machine, which we don't want. We don't want that. We want to build a brand, right? So you have to mix in this idea of, hey, I do all this other stuff, but I'm committed here, and here's what I know. And those two blended together, 90-10, the 90-10 rule that I talked about before, those two things blended together will bring in more opportunity for you and will help you successfully build your brand, right? Look, as you do this on social media, whatever platform it is that you're going to be doing, you're a representative of that organization. You are a representative of that organization, right? You have to think with that. You are representing this company, right? So the first thing we talked about was understand the rules of the company, understand the rules of the game so that you can navigate that as a representative of that organization. So drop the bikini photos, drop the whatever you're going to do on a Friday night. Like, we don't need to know that. Put it somewhere else. We don't need to see it because you're a representative of that, right? Sports, environmental, like, are you into, you trying to do things to better the environment in your local community, or you're part of your church? Like, what are you doing? Those are the things that you want people to see, in addition to the part of the business that you are an expert in and what it is that you promote about and what it is that you communicate about. So you're creating this wholesome identity. You're not creating this business identity. You're creating your identity as an extension of a business that drives more sales to the business, but you still retain yourself, right? That's the trick. How do you do this and retain your own individual identity? That's the trick, okay? Because what most people tend to do is they go all the way to the right and they lose the identity, and you're like, can I talk to you as a normal human being? And they're, you try to talk to them and you're like, are you a person? Like, what are you? Like, you're just kind of regurgitating stuff you don't even know what it means. Like, what is this? Doesn't make sense. I don't want to talk to that guy. I don't want to do business with that guy. So blending those two things together really puts you in a better position, right? Creating awareness of your position and expertise. That's really the game here, right? So you've got this personal 10% of the time, but your goal, if you're building a brand, is to create awareness of your position and the expertise that you have, right? You are hired for a reason. You've trained for a reason. You've done things for a reason. That's what you want to do. Now, if you have a problem promoting, you got to check to see that you're an ethical person. You got to check to see that you are doing it for the right reasons. You got to check to see that you're actually doing this to try to help someone. You got to do this for the right reasons. You can't do this for your ego. You can't do this because it feels good. You can't do it because blah, blah, blah. You're doing this for a very specific purpose, which is I'm committed here and I'm helping this company grow, and I am going to simultaneously be able to create more revenue and income for himself. All right. That's what we're trying to do at this point, right? So if you guys have questions that are on Zoom right now, do me a favor. You could drop them in there. If you want anything cleared up, that would be great. Instagram, I'm going to shut this off here shortly. So if you want to subscribe to this, you could go to SysloSpiceRecipe.com. We got some more stuff that we're going through. I hope you're finding it helpful. Hope you guys that are on here tonight find it really helpful. And the full replay will be available on my YouTube channel if you have not subscribed there at all as well. Boom. Creating awareness of your position and your expertise. Now, let's get into the fun part. The fun part is this list of don't do's that I have created. Like, don't do this. Don't do this if you're trying to create a brand for yourself, okay? Don't do what it is that I'm going to talk about it. Number one, do not use the company for your personal gain. What do I mean by that? Do not leverage, access, utilize the lists, the audience, the people that follow this individual or this organization for your own personal gain. Okay. So maybe you have another business that nobody knows about and you're trying to get people in. That would be considered personal gain. And it's kind of a violation of the rules of the business that we spoke about before, right? So you don't want to use the company for your personal gain. You don't want to, because that, look, as a business owner talking to you right now, it takes a lot of effort to build an audience. It takes a lot of effort to build a list. It takes a lot of effort to market and promote. And if somebody came in and they're trying to steal that away from me, they're gone, right? So you're there to assist. You're not there to take away in a negative viewpoint, right? So you're not trying to scalp clients for your own deal. All right. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to scalp clients for our own benefit. We're trying to bring clients to the business to make more money, which is for our benefit for sure. Like, that's definitely what we want to do, because the business makes money. I make money. Everybody's happy. Bada bing, bada boom. Thumbs up, way up on that. My paychecks go up. My bank account gets bigger. I can get the car that I want because I saw opportunities and I was able to create something that wasn't there before, which is exactly what I did. Right? So you don't want to use what the company's already built for your own personal gain for your stuff on the side. You want to use the company and the products and services that they have built and the audiences that they have built to enhance the expansion of that organization. Side note, creating your brand simultaneously, because you're doing that because you get known for that as well. Right? Okay. Do not degrade or post stupidity. I'll say it again. Do not degrade or post stupidity. Like, don't post stupid shiitake mushrooms. Like, don't do it. Don't post stupid. Don't do it. Okay. Now, what do I mean by stupid? What am I talking about there? Things that have no value, things that are degrading to either societies, portions of societies, communities, your viewpoints that are, maybe attacking something or somebody else. Like, we don't want that. Okay. Keep that kind of antagonistic stuff over there for your own private sense of self, right? Keep it over there because we don't want to go into that, right? And we don't want to degrade anybody. We don't want to create problems. We don't want to give reasons for people to attack, which is what most people do. We're trained to say, oh yeah, like, I'm going to attack. I'm going to be the big dog. I'm going to put this out here. I'm going to tell you what, that's great. But guess what you get back? You get more attacks. You get more of the same. You're not getting the expansion or the right clients that you want to work with. If you want the clients that are going to pay you, that are corporate or have deeper pockets or are not problematic, do not post stuff that could attract the types of people that would be problematic, right? Promotion equals income. The more promotion I did, the more income I made. The more professional I was, the more professional types of people that I attracted for the company, right? And don't post stupidity. Don't post yourself at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night with your friends in South Beach, getting drunk, hammered, whatever it is. Don't post yourself, ladies, at the club, breaking it down, jiggy wiggy, doing your thing. Like, we don't need to see that. And as an extension of the company, nobody else deserves to see that as well. I don't want that kind of an individual around. I want that person to be a representative of what I do. I don't go to clubs. There's a guy downstairs. We have valet, right? He pulls up the Aston Martin. Guy comes over and he says, "Hey man, I work at Club Live. You want to come down and like hang out? I get you in. I know everybody." I'm like, that's not my thing, man. I just don't do that. He's like, "What?" I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do that. It's not my thing." Because that's not my crowd. Those aren't the people I want to work with. Those aren't the people I want to work with. I want to work with Fortune 5000 companies. I don't think the CEO of companies are going to Club Live. And if they are, they got some issues. They got some problems. But that's not who I want to work with. I attract the type of people that I like to work with, right? So I don't degrade. I don't post stupidity. I don't do anything that could damage the reputation of the company or damage the reputation of myself, right? And I don't complain about things. Unless it's American Airlines. I'm just kidding. Took an hour to get the bag from the flight. I'm just kidding. Point of the matter is, kind of, but not really. Point of the matter is, though, is that my social feed is not, or never was when I was employee, ever littered with anything that would be remotely negative. It was always about the ability to enhance the company so that I could find ways to increase my income for the organization. Like, that's what I was trying to do. And then eventually 3 or 4 years later, when I was like, okay, I think I'm going to go out on my own now. I think I'm going to go do this now. It's time to go try this entrepreneurial thing. People knew who I was. And then I was able to sustain that through my non-compete. And then the business was ready to go. We launched it and it was fine. It was fine. I shared the company because I was committed to the organization and I didn't do stupidity. Right? I didn't antagonize anybody. I didn't cause any issues that damaged my reputation. Because look, whatever I promote, whatever I put down there, whatever it is that I communicate with, or whoever it is that whatever I say, that sticks with me. Good or bad, it just rides in my universe for the rest of time. So if you ever change and you're like, well, I wanted to be better, I wanted to be this, it's like, well, you were like a womanizer. We saw you with a different woman every week. And then you go to clubs every other week. And then you would do this. And it was just like, dude, I'm not interested in that, right? Your brand becomes tainted and you can't build that brand sustainably over time, right? So what we're talking about here is don't post anything that degrades or post stupid that could damage the reputation of yourself or the organization. Right? That's not what we're trying to do here. Next, do not overpromise. Okay. Do not distort the facts of the organization either. Okay. So if you're going to promote something, you're going to talk about something, you're going to talk about what it is that you do, what it is that you're responsible for, whatever that might be, you don't want to alter that fact. Okay. You don't want to alter that truth. You want that truth to be as clean and as smooth as possible. Right? Because again, that's something that's going to stick with you on, and you can't scale from that. Coke Zero, I love it. You can't scale from that point. 1 second. You can't scale from that point. And you can't overpromise like, oh, this product's going to do this. It's going to change your life. You're going to lose weight in like 60 days. You're going to lose weight in 2 weeks. We're going to cut you down. We're going to get you 6-pack abs tomorrow. We're going to get you more sales tomorrow. Okay. Advertising, worst industry for that. We're going to get you sales and blah. We don't do that. We don't say those things because it's just, we don't know. We don't know until we do it, right? So we don't overpromise and we don't overdo it either. The other thing when you're building your brand is not like, don't overdo it with the branding either. Like, don't go over the top with it. Like, find that happy medium of, okay, I'm communicating enough. I'm talking enough to this. I'm doing enough of that. I'm sharing this information. I'm really showing people what it is that I'm doing. Okay, that's enough. Like, you're going to find that sweet line for yourself as you do this. You'll be able to know like, okay, I can kind of pull that back. Okay, let's turn that on. Okay, I've gone 5 or 6 days without promoting. Like, you don't want to overdo it Because overdoing it, now it's just about attention. Now you're really just like, oh, well, I'm trying to do something to affect this and blah, 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 blah. We don't want to do that. We don't want to overdo it as an employee, okay? Whatever position that might be, we don't want to overdo that, right? We want to find that happy balance, that happy medium, because we're still trying to, we don't want to go outside the sandbox, right? We want to drive business to where we are, which in turn builds the brand. Videos, LinkedIn articles, pictures, posts, whatever, customer testimonials. Perfect. Okay, customer comes in, talk to the customer, show the customer, promote the customer, share the customer, whatever. Use it. Oh man, I had this great, oh, we just signed this deal. Oh, this guy just joined us. Oh, this guy just did this. Man, that's awesome. That's the kind of stuff, because you're forwarding the business and you're offering the opportunity to make more money. And people like that because they want to be a part of it. People like that because they want to be, they get pulled in. They're like, oh man, I want to partake. How do I partake in this? What is it that you guys are doing that I can be connected to? Right? How do I connect? See, what happens is as another entity, right? CEOs, you guys that are listening to this right now, as another person on the line, they're going to get you access to people you normally wouldn't get access to. Or maybe that all of a sudden it's now interested in talking to you that weren't interested in talking to you before. They weren't interested. Now all of a sudden they are. They're like, oh man, this is the guy. This is who we want to talk to. This is who we want to be. They can get you access to other people. They can get you that access. They can bring those people in, right? That's why I said, I encourage everybody that works with me. I'm like, hey, share this information. Share this information, okay? Promote it. By all means, you are not withheld from promotion here. You are not withheld from communication here. In fact, I encourage your communication here. I want you to share that because I want you to communicate. I want more business. I want more people coming in. Number 3, do not outright lie about what you do. Like, don't just make up a thing. Don't just be like, hey, I do. No, you don't. You don't do that. No, you're not responsible for that. No, you don't sell that. No, you're not responsible for that creation. Don't lie in promotion. Don't lie. It is just like, you might as well just take yourself and nail yourself to the cross. You can't lie. Okay. You got to keep that line clean, right? Because then what happens is people will turn around and they'll call the owner and they'll say, do you know that so-and-so is doing this? Do you know that so-and-so said that? And you're like, what? That's not true. What? And then now you've created a bigger situation. You get sued for that, cause problems with it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. The number one thing that you need to think about right now for yourself, if you're trying to build a brand for yourself, while you're employed, is to make sure that you are doing everything you can to help the forward momentum of the business. Okay. You have to dissect what that responsibility is going to be. You have to dissect what is that going to look like for you. You have to make the plan. You have to know the roadmap. You have to decide what platforms you want to go on and how you're going to go on those platforms. That's your job. Okay. It's not the employee's job, because look, you are becoming entrepreneurial by doing this activity. You're now moving out of the employee and becoming the entrepreneur. Is that intrapreneur? Is that the correct word? I don't know. It's something, somebody said it like 4 years ago. You're becoming the intrapreneur, where you're creating a little mini thing inside of a already thriving organization. And when you can do this successfully, you are now putting yourself in a position where you're just like, oh man, I am literally creating something that's going to change the outcome for everyone. And that's the game. That's what you're trying to do. All right. So that's everything that I wanted to talk to you about tonight. If you have questions, I will take your questions right now. You can put them in comments. Anything you want to chat about, let me know. Instagram. Damn, we did awesome. This was great. I'm going to turn you guys off right now. I thank you so much for being here. You guys can watch the replay if you want. It'll also be on YouTube, but I really appreciate you guys hopping in. You can sign up and get access to this SysloSpiceRecipe.com. Goodbye, Instagram. So what questions do you guys have that are here before we end off for the end of the night? We want to take a viewpoint. Do you have employees? Do you have people that you want to work with? Are you an employee right now? What does it look like for you? And we can dissect that. If not, no problem at all. Let me see. Did it do the Q&A? No Q&A. Love the don'ts. Yeah, Eric, the don'ts are pretty wild, man. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, that's all we're going to talk about for tonight. I really appreciate you coming on. Hopefully you found this helpful. I'll see you next Wednesday on the next episode of SysloSpice. Thank you so much. Take care.